I laughed my way out of the courthouse. I actually laughed. Not a bitter laugh, not a vindictive cackle, just pure, genuine amusement. I'd just taken my sister's inheritance, the money our parents left us when they died, $400,000 that was supposed to help her build a life, and I made sure she'd have none of it. All of it was mine now. My lawyer was grinning as we walked down the courthouse steps. "That was the most satisfying case I've handled in years," she said. "I know what you're thinking. What kind of person takes their own sister's inheritance? What kind of monster sues their sibling for $400,000, the exact amount their dead parents left behind? Go ahead, call me ruthless, call me an awful person, call me evil. I've heard it all. My sister's friends have called me worse. They've sent me messages, told me I'm heartless, told me I'm greedy, told me that family is supposed to forgive. Even strangers who heard about the case have opinions. She sued her own sister, they whisper, over money? That's cold. Cold, heartless, evil. Sure, so grab some popcorn, get comfortable, because this is the story of how I went scorched earth and destroyed my sister. My name is Brenda Bennett, and it all started 8 months ago, on Valentine's Day. The house smelled glorious, pot roast, slow cooking in my crock pot for 6 hours, creamy mashed potatoes, a 3-layer chocolate cake with fudge icing that I'd made from scratch. It was Valentine's Day, and I was surprising my husband with his favorite meal. I smoothed down my blue dress and checked the time, 6:15 p.m. He should be home soon. I lit the candles on the dining room table and smiled. Everything was perfect. My phone rang at 6:47 p.m. "Garrett." "Hey, babe," I answered, unable to hide my excitement. "Are you close? I have a surprise." "Brenda," he said. His voice stopped me cold. Something was off. "Listen, I need to tell you something." My stomach dropped. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" I'm fine. It's just my boss and some of the team decided to do a dinner thing tonight. Team building. I really can't get out of it," he said. I stared at the pot roast, the cake, the candles. "You're not coming home tonight?" I asked. "I'll be back tomorrow, I promise. I know it's Valentine's Day, but this is important." "Thompson's here, the senior VP. This could really help with my promotion. Senior engineer doesn't just fall into your lap," he said. My throat tightened. "I made dinner, your favorite." You did?" he said. He sounded annoyed. "Babe, you should have told me you were planning something. Look, I can't just bail now. You understand, right?" I took a shaky breath and snapped a photo of the table. The roast, the potatoes, the cake, the candles, the empty chair where he should be sitting. I sent it, silence on his end, then a text. "I'm sorry. I didn't know, but I need to be here. You get it, right? We can celebrate tomorrow. No comment about the food, no real apology, just deflection." "Yeah," I whispered. "I get it." "That's my girl. Love you. Gotta go," he said. He hung up before I could respond. I stood there in my ocean blue dress in a house that smelled like love and effort, staring at my phone. Something felt wrong. His reply had come too fast, too immediate for someone at a work dinner. And that background noise on the call, was that really a restaurant? I felt numb, like my brain couldn't fully process what was happening, like I was watching this from outside my own body. I opened Instagram, something I rarely used, but I had a feeling. I typed in Garrett's name, his last post 3 days ago. A coffee cup, nothing unusual, but he was tagged in something, posted 43 minutes ago. By Chelsea, my sister, Chelsea. I tapped it. The photo loaded. It was a cozy booth, candlelight, wine glasses, exposed brick walls, and Edison bulbs. That was Mason's Tavern. That was here, 20 minutes from our house. The photo showed 2 hands clasped together on the table. One was clearly feminine, Chelsea's, with her distinctive ring our mother had given her. The other was masculine. And I knew that hand. The silver watch caught the candlelight. The watch I gave Garrett for our first anniversary. Engraved on the back, "Forever yours, B." The scar on his knuckle from when he cut himself, fixing my car last summer. The navy sleeve of the jacket I'd ironed for him this morning. His wedding ring, my husband's hand. In my sister's Valentine's Day post. The caption read, "Sometimes you need to celebrate life with someone who gets it." I zoomed in until the image pixelated. That was definitely his hand. His watch. His scar. His ring. While I stood alone in my house, surrounded by pot roast and chocolate cake, and the ruins of the surprise I'd spent all day preparing, the pot roast timer beeped. The numbness cracked. Something cold and sharp filled the space where shock had been. I grabbed my purse and my keys, and I drove to Mason's Tavern. I parked 3 spaces down from the entrance. Through the large front window, I could see them. Booth in the corner. The same one from Chelsea's photo. My husband and my sister. Garrett was facing away from me, but I'd know the set of his shoulders anywhere. The navy jacket I'd ironed for him this morning, the way he leaned forward when he was engaged in conversation. Chelsea was laughing at something he said, her head thrown back, that red lipstick bright even from here. She reached across the table and took his hand. He didn't pull away. I sat in my car and pulled out my phone. Started taking pictures. Click, click, click. Their hands intertwined on the table, the intimate lean of their bodies, the wine glasses, the candlelight, everything. Then Chelsea stood up, slid around to his side of the booth, and kissed him. Not a friendly peck, a real kiss. The kind that meant something. The kind that said this wasn't the first time. My vision blurred, but I kept taking pictures. My thumb hit the button over and over. Evidence. I needed evidence. When they finally broke apart, Garrett's hand came up to cup her face. Tender. The way he used to touch me. The way he'd touched me this morning before he left for work. I lowered my phone. I had enough. More than enough, but I didn't leave. I got out of my car, smoothed down my blue dress, and walked into Mason's Tavern. The hostess greeted me with a smile. "Happy Valentine's Day. Table for one?" "I'm meeting someone," I said calmly. "I see them." I walked straight toward the corner booth. My heels clicked on the hardwood floor. Steady. Purposeful. Garrett noticed me first. His face went white. "Brenda," he said. Chelsea turned for a second, one beautiful, crystalline second. I saw genuine fear in her eyes. Then it was replaced by something else. Defiance. "Hi," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "Funny seeing you two here." "Brenda, this isn't—" Garrett started. "Isn't what?" I tilted my head. "Isn't you lying to me? You said you were at a work dinner, team building with Thompson." "I can explain," he said. "Can you?" I pulled out my phone, held it up so they could both see the screen. Photo after photo. Their hands, the kiss, his wedding ring clearly visible. "I have all the evidence I need," I said quietly. "So save your explanations." Chelsea lifted her chin. "Brenda, maybe we should talk about this somewhere private," she said. "Private?" I almost laughed. "You posted about your date on Instagram, Chelsea. You tagged him." "But sure, let's talk about privacy." Garrett's jaw tightened. "Brenda, you're making a scene," he said. "Am I?" I looked around. A few tables had gone quiet, people watching. Be glad I didn't bring the pot roast here and dump it on your heads. But I promise you, I almost did. I leaned in closer, my voice dropping. "You two deserve each other. Enjoy your dinner." Then I turned and walked out of Mason's Tavern with my head high and my evidence secured. I didn't run. I didn't cry. I just left. Got in my car and drove home. I sat in the dark living room. The candles had burned down to stubs. The pot roast had gone cold in the slow cooker. The cake sat untouched on the counter. I should have been crying. I should have been breaking down, calling friends, sobbing into a pillow. But I couldn't cry. The numbness had given way to something else. Anger. Pure, cold, burning anger that filled every cell in my body until I thought I might explode from it. My husband was cheating on me, with my sister, my baby sister, the only family I had left after our parents died. The sister I'd helped through college, the sister who called me her best friend. She was sleeping with my husband, and she'd posted about it. She'd wanted me to see, wanted me to know. I looked at my phone, at the photos I'd taken. Clear evidence, undeniable proof. I heard a car pull into the driveway at 10:47 p.m. The front door opened. Garrett walked in, turned on the light. He stopped when he saw me sitting on the couch. "Brenda," he said. I didn't respond. Chelsea walked in behind him, my sister, still wearing that black dress, still wearing that red lipstick. She had the decency to look uncomfortable, for about 3 seconds, then she lifted her chin and stood next to Garrett. United front. "We need to talk," Garrett said. "About what?" My voice was calm, flat. "About this, about us, about—" He ran his hand through his hair. "Look, I didn't plan for this to happen. Chelsea and I, it just happened." "It just happened," I repeated. "We fell in love," Chelsea said. Her voice was quiet but firm. "I know this is hard for you to hear, but it's the truth. We didn't mean to hurt you." I laughed. One short, bitter sound. "You didn't mean to hurt me?" You've been sleeping with my husband for how long?" They exchanged a look. 3 months, Garrett said finally. 3 months, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, my birthday, all while they were together. The anger inside me grew colder, sharper. "I think," Garrett said slowly, "it would be best if you moved out." Silence. "Excuse me?" I said quietly. "Just for a while. Give us all some space to figure this out." He had the audacity to look uncomfortable. "It's my house, Brenda. My name is on the deed. I think it's only fair that I stay here and you find somewhere else." I stared at him. "You're kicking me out." "I'm not kicking you out. I'm asking you to give me some space. Give us some space," he said. Us. Him and Chelsea. "Where exactly am I supposed to go?" I asked, my voice dangerously quiet. "You have friends, right? Or you could get an apartment. I'll help with the first month's rent. I'm not trying to be cruel here, Brenda. I'm just trying to be practical," he said. Chelsea was trying not to smile. I could see it. The corners of her mouth twitching, her eyes bright with barely concealed satisfaction. She was enjoying this, watching me get kicked out, watching Garrett choose her, watching me lose. "I think it's for the best," Chelsea added, her voice sickly sweet. "This way we can all move forward. You can start healing. And Garrett and I can figure out what this means for us." What this means for us. Like they were already a couple. Like I was just an obstacle to remove. "So let me get this straight," I said, my voice still eerily calm. "You've been cheating on me for 3 months, with my sister. On Valentine's Day, you lied to me so you could take her on a date. And now you want me to move out of the house so you two can play house together?" "Don't make this harder than it has to be," Garrett said. "How long do I have?" I asked. "I think a week is reasonable." "That gives you time to pack, find a place," he said. "A week." I stood up slowly. "You're giving me 1 week to move out of the house I've lived in for 2 years. The house I've cleaned and decorated and turned into a home. The house where I've cooked your meals and done your laundry and ironed your shirts every single day." "Brenda," he said. "Fine." They both looked surprised. "Fine?" Garrett repeated. "Fine. I'll be out in a week," I said. I walked past them, heading for the stairs. "Brenda, wait," Chelsea started. I stopped, turned slowly to face them, and smiled. Not sad, not bitter. A smile that made Chelsea take a step back. A smile that made Garrett's expression shift from relief to something else. Uncertainty, fear. "You know me, Chelsea," I said softly, still smiling that cold, dangerous smile. "Brenda," she said, "I won't take this sitting down." The smile widened. Chelsea's face went pale. She knew. She was starting to remember. What I did to Jennifer Matthews, who bullied her in 7th grade. What I did to Tyler Harrison, who cheated on her in college. What I was capable of when someone hurt the people I loved. And now she'd hurt me. Deliberately, publicly, with that Instagram post designed to make sure I knew. "Good night," I said pleasantly. "Enjoy the house while you can." I went upstairs, closed the bedroom door, and sat on the edge of the bed. I still couldn't cry. I was too angry to cry. But I could plan. And that smile was a promise. They just didn't know it yet. I woke up early the next morning, showered, dressed in jeans and a sweater, and went downstairs around 8 a.m. Garrett was at the stove, stirring something in a pan. Chelsea was setting the table, humming, wearing one of my aprons. They looked up when I entered. "Oh, Brenda?" Chelsea said. Her voice was bright. Fake. "We made breakfast. Would you like some?" I stared at her, at my sister, wearing my apron, in my kitchen, offering me breakfast while she played house with my husband. "Coffee?" Garrett offered, holding up the pot. I didn't answer him, didn't even look at him. I walked to the cabinet, grabbed a travel mug, and poured myself coffee. "So," I said, my voice conversational. "How's playing house with my husband, Chelsea? Enjoying it?" Her smile faltered. "Brenda, don't be like that," she said. I laughed. Short, sharp. "Don't be like what?" "Don't be upset that my sister is making breakfast in my kitchen, wearing my apron, serving food to my husband." "Brenda," Garrett started. I held up a hand, didn't look at him. "I'm not talking to you." I grabbed my purse, my keys, headed for the door. "Where are you going?" Garrett called after me. I stopped at the door, turned back, smiled. That same smile from last night, the one that made Chelsea's face go pale. "Wouldn't you like to know?" And I walked out, leaving them probably thinking I have lost my mind. I drove to a coffee shop and sat in my car. Called my friend Rachel, told her everything. She offered me her guest room immediately. Then I waited until 9 a.m. The first call was to Castellano Legal Group. I need to make an appointment with Sophie Castellano. Divorce case. As soon as possible, I said. She has an opening at 2 p.m. today if that works, the receptionist said. I'll be there, I said. I sat in my car, sipping my coffee, making my lists. Lawyer, 2 p.m. Bank, withdraw money from joint accounts before he thinks to freeze them. Document everything. I wasn't just leaving, I was preparing for war. At 2 p.m. I walked into Sophie Castellano's office. She was exactly what I expected. Sharp suit, sharper eyes, no-nonsense handshake. Mrs. Austin, please sit, she said. I sat, slid the folder across her desk. Photos from the restaurant, bank statements, credit card receipts, evidence of my financial contributions to the household. She opened the folder, flipped through page by page. Her expression didn't change, but I saw her jaw tighten. And this? She held up a printout of Chelsea's Instagram post, the one with Garrett's hand visible, his watch, his wedding ring. My sister. Posted while he told me he was at a work dinner, I said. Sophie set it down carefully. Tell me everything. So I did. Valentine's Day. The pot roast. The lie. Finding them at the restaurant. And then, the part that made Sophie's eyes narrow, coming home to find them in my house. Garrett telling me to leave. Chelsea smiling while she watched me get kicked out. When I finished, Sophie leaned back in her chair. How attached are you to your sister? She asked. She's dead to me, I said. Good. Sophie pulled out a legal pad. Because I'm about to make this very, very expensive for both of them. She started writing. First, the divorce. We're in North Carolina, which means equitable distribution and adultery affects alimony. You gave up your career to be a housewife. That's documented, correct? Yes, I left my marketing job 6 months after we got married. He said we didn't need 2 incomes, I said. Perfect. We'll argue you sacrificed your earning potential for the marriage. Given his infidelity, I can get you substantial alimony. Probably $3,000 to $5,000 a month depending on his income, she said. She made a note. Second, the house. It's in his name, but you've been paying the property taxes from your inheritance money, correct? She asked. For over a year. Almost $12,000, I said. We'll argue for reimbursement at minimum. Maybe a portion of the equity. It won't give you the house, but it'll hurt him financially, she said. Another note. Third, and this is the interesting part, your sister, she said. I leaned forward. Sophie looked at me directly. North Carolina is one of the few states that still recognizes alienation of affection lawsuits. We can sue your sister for deliberately interfering with your marriage. Sue her? For what? I asked. Damages, emotional distress, loss of consortium. The fact that she's your sister makes it worse. She had intimate knowledge of your marriage and deliberately chose to destroy it. A jury will hate her, she said. How much? I asked. Depends on the jury, but given the circumstances, I'd estimate $300,000 to $500,000 in damages, she said. My breath caught. She doesn't have that kind of money, I said. Does she have assets, inheritance? She asked. I thought about our parents, the life insurance money we'd both received. About $400,000 from our parents. Sophie's smile widened. Perfect, we'll go after that. She tapped her pen on the legal pad. So here's what we're going to do. We file for divorce immediately, citing adultery. We request alimony, reimbursement for the property taxes, and half of any marital assets. We make it as expensive and drawn out as possible. And my sister? I asked. We sue her separately for alienation of affection. We take her to court. We put her on the stand and make her admit under oath that she knowingly had an affair with her sister's husband. We make sure the jury knows exactly what kind of person she is, she said. And then? I asked. And then we take everything she has, she said. She leaned forward. But I need you to do something for me first. What? I asked. Tell them you need more time to find a place. A week, maybe 2. Stay in the house, she said. Why? I asked. Because right now all we have is proof of an affair. But if I can show a jury that your sister moved into the marital home, while you were still there, while you were still married, that she was living with your husband, playing house, erasing you from your own home, that's not just an affair anymore. That's rubbing your face in it. Juries hate that, she said. How do I prove it? I asked. Document everything. Photos of her moving things in. Videos if you can get them. Cameras are legal in your own home. Get hidden ones if you need to. Show them acting like a couple. The more evidence of them cohabiting in the marital residence, the worse it looks, she said. I thought about going back to that house, watching them together for another week. How long do I need to do this? I asked. A week should be enough. Maybe 2 if you can stomach it. We just need clear evidence that she's not just visiting, she's living there, moving in, taking over. She said, Okay, I said, I'll do it. Good. Sophie pulled out papers. Let's get started. I sat back. Garrett wanted me out of his house. Chelsea wanted to play happy couple with my husband. They wanted me to disappear quietly. Instead, I was about to take everything from both of them. When do we start? I asked. Sophie pulled out a stack of papers. Sign here and here. Initial here, she said. I signed everything. One more thing, I said, pulling out my phone. I have recordings. Her eyebrows raised. Of what? The restaurant. When I confronted them, and last night, when they came home and told me to leave, I said. I played her a clip. Chelsea's voice. I think it's for the best. This way we can all move forward, you can start healing, and Garrett and I can figure out what this means for us. Sophie's smile widened. Mrs. Austin, you just made my job very easy. I went home and told Garrett I needed more time. 2 weeks to find a place. He agreed, looking relieved I wasn't making things difficult. I ordered hidden cameras online. Next day delivery. Set them up while they were out shopping. Picture frame in the living room, phone charger in the kitchen, alarm clock in the bedroom. All recording to my phone. Day 1, I came home to find them cooking together. Oh, Brenda, Garrett said cheerfully. Perfect timing. Are you hungry? I'm making shrimp scampi, Chelsea's favorite. I stopped in the doorway, stared at the pan full of shrimp on the stove. My stomach dropped. Really, Garrett? Shrimp? I said. His face went blank. What? I'm deathly allergic to shellfish. Severely allergic. 1 bite and I'd be in the ER, I said. I pulled out my phone, started recording. Did you forget? Or were you hoping I'd forget? Chelsea was at the counter, chopping garlic. She looked up, and for just a second, I saw something in her eyes. Something calculating. Oh my God, Brenda, I'm so sorry, Chelsea said, her voice dripping with false concern. I completely forgot you were allergic. Garrett was just being sweet and making my favorite dish. We didn't mean... You knew, I said quietly, keeping my phone steady. You've known since we were kids, Chelsea. I almost died at your 10th birthday party because someone brought shrimp cocktail. Chelsea's face flushed. That was years ago. You just wanted shrimp scampi, I finished. In my house, while I'm still living here. Knowing I can't even be in the same room when it's cooking without risking a reaction. Garrett set down the spatula. Brenda, it's just dinner. We can open the windows. It's just dinner, I repeated, still recording. 2 years of marriage, and you're making food that could literally kill me. For her. I saved the video, turned and walked out of the kitchen, went upstairs to the guest room I'd moved into. I sent it to Sophie with a note. Attempted to cook food I'm deathly allergic to. Chelsea knew. She's known since childhood. Her reply, perfect, shows deliberate disregard for your safety and complete replacement of you in the home. Keep documenting. Day 2, Chelsea brought 3 boxes of clothes. Started hanging them in the closet next to Garrett's things. I took photos of every box, every item going into the closet. Time-stamped. Day 3, more boxes. Books, decorations, toiletries moving into the bathroom. My makeup got pushed to the back of the counter. Her expensive skincare products took the front spots. I documented all of it. Day 4. She started rearranging furniture. That's when I stopped her. I walked into the living room where Chelsea was moving my wedding photo from the mantel. What are you doing? I asked calmly. She jumped. Oh, Brenda, I thought we could freshen up the space a bit, she said. No. I took the photo from her hands, put it back on the mantel, made sure the hidden camera in the picture frame across the room caught it all. What? She said. You're not redecorating. Not while I'm still here, I said. Chelsea's face flushed. Brenda, I'm just trying to... I deserve a little bit of respect, Chelsea, I said. My voice was quiet, controlled. If you don't want me to make your life hell, you can't do whatever you want in this house while I'm here. It's Garrett's house, she started, and I'm still his legal wife. I smiled. So wait your turn. Chelsea stared at me, then stormed off to find Garrett. That night, I heard them arguing in the bedroom. When are you filing for divorce? Chelsea demanded. It's been almost a week. I will, I just need some time, Garrett said. Time for what? You fill out some forms, you file them. How hard is it? She said. It's not that simple, Chelsea. I need to save up for a lawyer, he said. Save up, Garrett, you're an engineer. You make good money, she said. Yes, just I make good money, but divorce wasn't in the equation until Brenda caught us. His voice rose. I was planning to leave her, okay? I was going to save up enough for a good lawyer first, then file. But she caught us early, on Valentine's Day. I wasn't ready yet. Silence. You were planning to leave her? Chelsea's voice softened. For me? Of course for you. I just needed a few more months to get my finances in order. But now I have to scramble. I need at least $5,000 for a decent divorce attorney, and I don't have it right now, he said. How long? She asked. A month, maybe 6 weeks. I can pull it together, he said. I smiled in the dark. He was planning to leave me, had been planning it for months, but he didn't have the money yet. And I'd already paid Sophie a $10,000 retainer. He had no idea what was coming. 2 weeks later, I had everything I needed. Videos of Chelsea moving in, photos of her belongings in every room, recordings of them talking about their future, the shrimp incident, Garrett's admission about planning to divorce me but not having the money, everything. Saturday morning, I started loading boxes into my car, only my things, the coffee maker I bought, the books that were mine, the clothes, the personal items. I left everything Garrett had paid for, legally clean. Garrett came outside as I was loading the trunk. Let me help you with that, he offered, reaching for a box. He looked guilty, like he wanted to ease his conscience by being helpful. Chelsea appeared in the doorway, practically bouncing with excitement. Well, she called out brightly, we should celebrate tonight, Garrett, finally have the place to ourselves. She was smiling, rubbing it in my face, enjoying her victory. I stopped, turned around, and smiled. Yes, Garrett, I said pleasantly. Go celebrate. Enjoy it while it lasts. I closed the trunk, looked at both of them standing there. Goodbye to you both. I hope it's all worth it. And I got in my car and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I saw them standing in the driveway. Chelsea's smile had faded. She looked confused. Garrett was frowning. They had no idea. Sophie called me 3 weeks after I moved out. The papers had been served, both of them, same day, different times and locations. Garrett got his at work. Divorce papers, in front of his colleagues. Chelsea got hers at Garrett's house. A lawsuit for alienation of affection for $400,000. Sophie said they went into full-blown panic. Garrett called my office 5 times in the first hour. Chelsea called 7. Both demanding to speak to you, Sophie said. And? I asked. I told them they could talk to you in court, she said. I could hear the smile in her voice. Garrett showed up at Sophie's office that afternoon. Security had to escort him out. According to Sophie, he was ranting, saying I couldn't afford this, that I was bluffing, that his cheap lawyer, the one he'd scraped together money for, would handle it. He genuinely thought I didn't have money for a good attorney. Chelsea apparently set him straight. Sophie's assistant overheard them arguing in the parking lot outside the office. Chelsea was screaming that, of course, I had money. I got $400,000 too from our parents, the same inheritance she had. Garrett went silent when he realized. His wife, ex-wife soon, had hired a top divorce attorney, had filed first, had evidence, had money. And he was broke. He'd had to take out a loan just to pay his lawyer's retainer, a lawyer who was inexperienced and out of his depth. Chelsea's lawyer wasn't much better. Within a week, both their attorneys reached out to Sophie. They wanted to talk, wanted to negotiate, wanted me to settle. What did you say? I asked. I said no, Sophie replied. They asked for mediation. Sophie said no. They asked if I'd be willing to speak to Garrett and Chelsea directly. Sophie said absolutely not. See you in court. Chelsea's lawyer tried one more time, offered me $50,000 to drop the alienation suit. I laughed when Sophie told me. $50,000, I said. That's what I told them. $400,000 or we go to trial, Sophie said. 2 days later, they called back. Chelsea would pay if I agreed to a payment plan. I said no, lump sum. All of it, Sophie said. Her lawyer said Chelsea would have to liquidate her entire inheritance. I said yes, that was the point, Sophie said. We were going to trial. 4 months later, the divorce hearing. The courtroom was cold, formal. Garrett sat with his budget lawyer looking tired and beaten down. Chelsea sat in the gallery, watching. She wasn't supposed to be there, but she came anyway. Sophie presented our case methodically. The adultery, the evidence, photos of them at the restaurant, the Instagram post with Garrett's hand clearly visible, his watch, his scar, his wedding ring, bank statements showing hotel charges and expensive dinners, all from our joint account. She showed my contributions to the household, how I'd given up my career, how I'd paid property taxes from my inheritance for over a year. $12,000. Garrett's lawyer argued, said I was asking for too much, said I could get a job, Sophie countered, showed how I'd sacrificed my earning potential at Garrett's request, how I'd spent 2 years as a full-time homemaker while he built his career. The judge listened, reviewed the evidence, made his ruling. $4,000 a month in alimony, until I remarried or he retired, $60,000 from his retirement account, $12,000 reimbursement for property taxes, plus my share of other marital assets. Garrett's face drained of color when he heard the numbers. $4,000 a month, for years, maybe decades. He'd have to take out more loans, downsize his life, struggle. The man who kicked me out of his house was now going to pay me for the rest of his working life. Chelsea's hand flew to her mouth. She looked like she might be sick. 2 months later, the alienation of affection trial. This one was different. This one had a jury. 12 strangers who would decide if my sister owed me $400,000. Sophie was brilliant. She laid out the timeline. 3 months of deliberate deception. The Instagram post, not a careless mistake, but a deliberate revelation. She wanted me to see it, wanted me to know. Sophie showed the photos, the videos of them living together in my house while I was still there. The shrimp incident, Chelsea cooking food she'd known since childhood I was deathly allergic to. The recordings of them discussing their future while asking me to leave my own home. She showed Garrett's admission that he'd been planning to leave me, but didn't have the money saved yet. Then she called Chelsea to the stand. My sister sat there, under oath, and had to admit everything. The affair, the length, the lies. That she knew I was married to Garrett, that I was her sister. That she pursued the relationship anyway. "Did you post that photo on Instagram on Valentine's Day?" Sophie asked. "Yes," Chelsea said quietly. "Knowing your sister would see it?" Sophie pressed. Chelsea hesitated. I didn't think... You didn't think she'd see a photo where you tagged her husband? A photo showing his watch, his wedding ring, his hand holding yours?" Sophie's voice was sharp. "I just wanted to share a nice moment," Chelsea said. "Did you want her to know?" Sophie asked directly. Silence. "Ms. Bennett, you're under oath," the judge reminded her. Chelsea's eyes filled with tears. "Yes," she whispered. "I wanted her to know." A ripple went through the jury. I saw their faces shift, disgust, anger. Sophie continued. "Did you move into the marital home while Mrs. Austin was still living there?" "Yes," Chelsea said. "Did you know she was deathly allergic to shellfish when you requested shrimp scampi be cooked in her home?" Sophie asked. I forgot," Chelsea started. Sophie pulled out a medical record. "According to this emergency room visit from 15 years ago, you were present when your sister nearly died from anaphylactic shock after exposure to shellfish at your 10th birthday party. Did you forget that?" Chelsea's face crumpled. "No," she whispered. "You remembered, but you wanted the shrimp scampi anyway," Sophie stated. "Yes," Chelsea said, tears streaming down her face. The jury was stone-faced now. One woman was shaking her head slightly. Sophie showed the videos, the recordings, every ugly detail laid bare in front of a jury. Chelsea's lawyer tried to frame it as a love story. 2 people who couldn't help their feelings. The jury didn't buy it. I could see it in their faces. Disgust, anger, judgment. After 3 days of testimony, they deliberated for 4 hours. When they came back, the 4 women stood. "We find in favor of the plaintiff. We award damages in the amount of $400,000. Chelsea sobbed, loud, heaving sobs that echoed through the courtroom. The judge banged his gavel, ordered her removed if she couldn't control herself. She stumbled out, still crying. I sat there, calm, quiet, and smiled. And that's why, folks, I walked out of that courthouse laughing. Walked right past Chelsea, who was sitting on a bench in the hallway, mascara running down her face. Walked past Garrett, who looked like he'd aged 10 years. Walked out into the sunshine with Sophie beside me, grinning like she'd just won the lottery. "Best case I've ever had," she said. I laughed, actually laughed. I'd won. Everything. 400,000 from Chelsea, her entire inheritance gone, 4,000 a month from Garrett, plus 72,000 from the divorce settlement, plus my own 400,000 inheritance, almost 900,000, plus monthly payments for years. I got in my car, started the engine, and that's when it hit me. I started crying. Not pretty crying, ugly, sobbing, can't catch my breath crying. I sat in the courthouse parking lot, gripping the steering wheel, and cried harder than I had through this entire nightmare. It was weird, I know. I'd just won. I'd just taken everything from them. I should have been celebrating, but I cried anyway. Relief, maybe, that it was finally over. Heartbreak, definitely, for the marriage I thought I had, for the sister I thought I knew, but also something else. Something that felt like release, like I'd been holding my breath for 8 months and could finally exhale. Relief that I'd fought back, that I hadn't just accepted it, that I'd stood up for myself. Relief that the perfect housewife who made pot roast and ironed shirts had found her spine. Relief that I'd won. I cried for 20 minutes in that parking lot, then I wiped my eyes, fixed my makeup, started the car, and drove to my apartment that I paid for with my settlement money, my new life that I built from the ashes of my old one. Over the next few weeks, word spread. Friends reached out, asked if I was okay. Some of them had run into Chelsea, said she looked terrible, crying, desperate. She was telling people I was being unreasonable, that I was destroying her life over a mistake. Most people didn't buy it, but Chelsea's friends? They did. They sent me messages, told me I was heartless, told me I was greedy, that taking her inheritance was cruel. "You're evil," one of them texted. "She's your sister. How can you do this to her?" I stared at the message for a long moment. Then I typed back. "Evil is sleeping with your own sister's husband. Evil is posting about it on Instagram because you wanted me to see. Evil is moving into my house and cooking food that could kill me. I'm just getting even. And if I were you, I'd hold on to your husband or boyfriend. If she can do it to her own sister, she can do it to you." I hit send. Another message came through from someone else. "You should blame your husband, not your sister." I smiled as I typed my response. Oh, I did. 4,000 a month for the rest of his working life. He's not getting away scot-free. It takes two to tango, and I'm not the type to forgive easy. Just wish it won't happen to you. The messages stopped after that. Chelsea never called to apologize. Why would she? She's furious with me. From what I heard through mutual acquaintances, she blames me for everything, says I ruined her life, that I'm vindictive and cruel, that taking her inheritance was evil. She tells anyone who'll listen that I destroyed her over a mistake. Most people don't want to listen, because sleeping with your sister's husband for 3 months and posting about it on Instagram isn't a mistake, it's a choice. A deliberate one. And Garrett? He works, gets his paycheck, and every month, $4,000 goes straight to me for alimony. The rest goes to loan payments, to the debt he accumulated trying to fight the divorce, to the bills. There's not much left. Between the alimony, the lawyer fees, and the loans he took out, he couldn't afford the mortgage anymore. That house he was so proud of, the house he kicked me out of, the house where his name was on the deed, he lost it, had to sell it at a loss just to cover his debts. He and Chelsea moved into a 1-bedroom apartment, small, cheap, in a part of town they used to look down on, nothing like the life they thought they'd have. And Chelsea? She can't afford to leave him. She has no money, no inheritance, no savings. She's stuck, working a job she hates, living in an apartment she hates, with a man she's starting to resent, because every month when that $4,000 goes to me, she sees it. Sees the life they could have had if he wasn't paying his ex-wife. They fight about it constantly, from what I hear. She blames him for not being able to afford a better lawyer, for losing the house, for the alimony. He blames her for the affair being discovered, for posting that Instagram photo, for the lawsuit, for costing him his house. Neither of them takes responsibility, but both of them finally understand what I meant that day I moved out. When I smiled and said, "Enjoy it while it lasts," they thought they'd won, thought they'd get the house, the relationship, the happy ending. Instead, they got debt, resentment, and a 1-bedroom apartment they can barely afford, while I got everything. And today I have an interview, a real job, head of marketing at a tech startup, good salary, better benefits. The kind of position I would have had years ago if I hadn't given up my career to be Garrett's perfect housewife. I learned that being kind doesn't mean being weak, that being a good wife doesn't mean accepting betrayal, that sometimes the best revenge isn't screaming or crying or begging. Sometimes it means getting even, legally, completely, and without apology. So yeah, call me evil, call me heartless, call me whatever you want. I don't care what people think about me anymore. Can you blame me for going scorched earth on both of them? And Chelsea and Garrett, they have debt, resentment, and a one-bedroom apartment. Finally understanding what enjoy it while it lasts meant too late. So there's my story. Now I want to hear from you. Was I justified, or did I go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're here for more stories about people who refuse to be victims, hit that like button and subscribe. This is Melodic Vengeance. Until next time, take care, everyone.
If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Don't forget to follow for more content just like this. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.